Okay, let's just get right into it because this is the story in tech right now. The creator of the viral AI agent OpenClaw, a guy named Peter Steinberg, is joining OpenAI. This is a huge deal, and it's sending massive ripples through the entire AI world. We're going to break down exactly what this means.
And look, this isn't just some standard "welcome to the team" announcement. When the CEO, Sam Altman, says he expects this to quickly become core to our product offerings, that's a major signal. He's basically telling us that Steinberg's vision for AI agents is now right at the center of OpenAI's entire future.
So, how do we make sense of this bombshell? Well, here's how we're going to tackle it. First, what this means for OpenAI's big picture strategy. Then, we'll get into the absolutely chaotic story of OpenClaw's creation. We'll also get to know the man behind it all, dive into the huge debate this has sparked, and finally, try to figure out what the future actually holds.
All right, first up, OpenAI's new agent star. Because this move is about way more than just one hire. It's a massive clue about where this entire industry is going. So, the key piece of the puzzle here is this idea of a personal AI agent. What is that really? Well, think of it like a super smart assistant that doesn't just find information for you, it actually does stuff for you. It can work with your other apps and even other AIs to handle complex tasks, all by itself.
And this is where OpenAI is putting all its chips. The vision isn't just about building one amazing agent. It's about creating a future where tons of these agents are all working together. So by grabbing the creator of the most popular open source agent out there, OpenAI is trying to position itself as the main hub for that entire future.
Now, let's get to the story of how this whole thing even happened. And trust me, the journey of OpenClaw has been an absolute roller coaster. This wasn't some slow burn project. It was pure, unadulterated internet chaos. And this timeline, it just says it all. I mean, look at the speed here. In November, it's just a personal side project. 1 month later, it's a viral sensation with 60,000 stars on GitHub. By January, it's so big that it's forced to change its name 3 times in 3 days. And then bam, by February, the creator is joining OpenAI. That is an absolutely blistering pace. And the impact? It was huge. We're not talking about some niche tool for developers. OpenClaw got over 1 million users in what felt like a heartbeat. And you have to remember, this was pretty much all managed by one person. It just goes to show how much demand there is for this kind of technology. But you know, that kind of explosive growth, it comes with some serious headaches. He got into battles over the name with a competitor, Anthropic. When he had to change the project's name, scammers would snatch up the old social media handles in seconds. There were constant security worries, and other companies even started blocking it. It was a trial by fire every single day. Which brings us to a really important question. Why would he give all this up to join a big company? Well, that brings us to the man himself. You see, he's a builder, not a CEO. And to really get this decision, you have to understand what makes him tick. And this quote just explains everything. He's not some 20-something trying to build the next billion-dollar startup. He's already been there and done that. He spent 13 years of his life building a company, sold it, and actually retired. He only came back to this because he just loves building things. His mission now is super personal, and you gotta love it. He wants to build an AI agent that's so easy to use, his own mom could use it. This isn't about making fancy tools for other tech people. It's about making this stuff work for everybody. And make no mistake, he had his pick. He was talking to all the big AI labs. He chose OpenAI because he thought it was the fastest way to get his agent into the hands of millions of people. For him, it's about making an impact, not just starting another company. But that decision, as much sense as it made for him, has created a huge divide in the open source community that helped make his project a star. And that brings us to the open source standoff. The very people who championed OpenClaw are now really torn. And the whole argument really comes down to this. On one side, you have the fear, perfectly summed up by co-founder at xAI, basically saying, why would you trust something that's now owned by OpenAI? But on the other side, you have the promise from inside OpenAI saying, no, these agents will stay on your computer, and you can use any AI model you want with them. So to try and calm everyone down, Steinberg laid out his demands, his non-negotiables. He's insisted that the project move into an independent foundation. It has to stay open source. It has to keep supporting models from other companies, not just OpenAI. And critically, OpenAI has agreed to pay for this new independent setup.
So, where does all this leave us? It brings us to the final and most important question. Is the future of this project going to be open, or is it about to become closed claw?
Yeah, that skepticism is very, very real. In fact, some people in the community have already given the project this new nickname, Closed Claw. It perfectly captures the fear here, right? That despite all the promises, the open source soul of this project is just going to get swallowed up by its new corporate parent.
And this chart really spells out the two possible paths. The upside could be huge. With OpenAI's money and resources, the project could solve all its security problems and finally reach everybody. But the downside is just as real. It could be a total corporate takeover, where it loses its independent spirit and angers the very community that made it famous.
So in the end, we're left with this one massive question. Can a grassroots open source project really keep its soul while living inside one of the most powerful AI companies on the planet? The future of personal AI agents might just depend on the answer.